Mr. Cash, hi. Saw your comment that you made about Miss Assata Shakur. I also noticed you didn't want to use her name. Very interesting. I noticed that you are a representative for America, right? And it seems like America still sees people and black women like Assata Shakur as a terrorist. Now I find that very interesting, right? Because you proclaim your country, the FBI, proclaimed Martin Luther King Jr. at one point to be a terrorist. And y'all even created a COINTELPRO in 1968 to prevent the rise of a black messiah. This is in your documents. Now, you want to talk about the disrespect of police officers and the government.
I'm gonna keep it a buck. I'm not too broken up about Assata Shakur's passing because I find it very ironic you pick an African name, you flee to a Latino country for asylum, but what the hell did you actually do for us? Assata Shakur was for self, much like a lot of those Black Panthers. That's why they were dismantled. You use the struggling and suffering of blacks to further your own movement. And before you get all pissed off, let me explain something to you. A lot of y'all that are black in this country, the Black Panthers, as radical and loud as y'all are, baby, you would not have been accepted. The Black Panther Party did not like anybody who was LGBTQ. They didn't care for anybody who was of a different background. Like, if you were not strictly Black American, they didn't give a fuck about you. So, like I said, and then she killed a police officer, and the movement she was, what was it called? The Black Liberation Army or whatever the fuck, broke in prison, took some people hostage, and, broke her out. She left in a van and all that shit, whatever. And then she fled to Cuba. But Fidel Castro granted her political asylum. And that's what I want to bring to attention. Now, you don't advocate for anybody black outside America, but the Latino countries are the only place you can go for asylum. You didn't go nowhere that was primarily black. You didn't go to Jamaica. You didn't go to, you didn't go to Africa. Why the hell did you pick Cuba? Because if you can't go nowhere else on this earth, Latinos will protect you. So at the end of the day, it's sad she passed, but it don't affect me in no way, shape, or form. And I don't give a fuck what you have to say. Again, just because I'm black, nah. Black Panther Party really didn't do shit for us either besides give underprivileged blacks the WIC program.
Yo, so we back in here for another edition of F-ya-Motha. I couldn't stand listening to another word of that Jiffy Pop head motherfucker that don't know what she's talking about. Well, let's start with the last thing she said. The Black Panthers didn't do nothing for black people. They actually did. You call it a WIC program, but they was feeding kids that were hungry. Now, it may not mean shit to you, but that meant a lot to the kids that they was feeding at the public school before the public school systems would feed them for free. So you need to be grateful. Because the reason you were eating free lunch and you look like you ate too much of it is because of the Black Panthers. Had they not did what they did and gotten taken down, the public school system wouldn't have been feeding your chubby ass. Not to mention, she's talking about that Assata Shakur ran to Cuba because the Latinos. Once again, I hate when brown skinned Black American motherfuckers. Yeah, she might have some Afro Latino ancestry, but motherfucker is Tino. Ain't no goddamn H. Stop saying it like that, trying to sound special. You was not special. But she was talking about how what did Assata Shakur do for the black community. She did a lot. Her showmanship of actually smoking that cop, while it might have been dead wrong, and it's never been conclusively proved that she fired the bullet that killed him. They were in a shoot-off, her and a few other people with a few other police officers. So it wasn't like they had ballistics where they could actually pinpoint who shot the cop. There were no eyewitnesses. And even if it was, with the shit that they doing to us now, like, hey, look it, I forgot who said it, but they said the only cop is a dead cop. Them motherfuckers be creepy, they be corrupt, they be dirty, planting drugs on people. It was in the 70s. They had already tried to convict her of a murder in 71 that she didn't do. a bank robbery in 73 that she didn't do. They was just gunning for this woman, fucking with her, because she was black. So her movement or whatever she was doing may not mean shit to you, and it's a whole bunch of airhead, soulless black people running around that don't know their history, so they can get on the internet and say dumb shit like this, right? And she probably got a following on TikTok, which is even more pathetic, that there's people that think like you. Not only that, she's a tether. This ain't a black American person. This is a person that was born in America. I'm tired of all these goddamn immigrant transplants talking shit about American or black culture. You're not even from here. Be thankful that you were anchored here and could actually grow up here. If not, you'd be in a place with no running water and without toilet paper to wipe your ass. You'd be eating a goat head. But this goes to show how people are thoughtless and unappreciative. She goes on to say that what Assata Shakur and the Black Liberation Army did more than what the fuck you did. How about that? They had 60 programs across the 50 states that was helping children eat, helping disenfranchised people get food, housing, clothing, all that. Once again, they may not meant nothing to you, but it meant something to them people at that time. Hell, it got the police to chill the fuck off of niggas. You know what I'm saying? Back then, they was hyper aggressive. And while black people are still getting shot that's unarmed now, there has been a time in history where that was actually not the case. It was leaning off of niggas. Because the repercussions of actually applying pressure to black people was what she almost went to jail for. And on top of all that, she's talking about all they did was just break her out and hold some people hostage. That's more what your big ass did. The only thing you hold hostage is a refrigerator. Yeah. Not to mention, before I started talking and I let that video play, my man actually was giving critique of Kash Patel. This is another immigrant anchored baby that grew up here in the States, that have no idea of American culture, and can get they stupid ass on Twitter telling people not to mourn the death of Assata Shakur. Like, what the fuck is that gonna do for you? And just because you tell people that doesn't mean that they're gonna abide by that, especially when you're the director of the FBI. Like, ain't this the same fucking agency that came out with COINTEL program and was keeping black people, leaders, under investigation, that was responsible for the death of Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Medgar Evers? I could keep going. They probably was responsible for the death of Tupac, Biggie, trying to make it look like some gangland shit. So these are the last people that should be telling somebody not to mourn the death of an icon and a freedom fighter. Now, there's going to be some people that like Charlie Kirk and listen to his message without being informed on actual truth, that's going to say that, oh, she was a convicted murderer. Just like people said O.J. Simpson killed Nicole Simpson. You knew the backstory and all the details of that trial, you would never say that. But I understand that there's some people that are in America that's kind of mentally handicapped, and they listen to the idiot box or other idiots that tell them what they should be thinking instead of doing the research. In any event, oh yeah, also this is the same FBI director that fires agents pictured kneeling at George Floyd protest in 2020. So fuck him. Not to mention, like, all these people from India. This is why I'm glad this is why I'm glad Kamala didn't become president, because for some reason I have never had a pleasant encounter with too many Indians. They always give you shit. Him, Vivek, always talking slick and greasy. Dinesh D'Souza, I know it's another one, Deepak Chopra, or Chopra Deepak, I can't never say that motherfucking name. Yeah, these are people that come from caste system countries, right? That they treat the people with the browner skin like shit innately, just because they're dark skinned. These are the same people that come from cultures that have their self-hatred is prevalent. They got so much goddamn bleaching products on these shelves in the store. It should be an epidemic, but for them, they've been colonized thoroughly and into submission. This shit's normal shit for them. So these are the last people they need to criticize, say anything about black culture or black history or black society as it pertains to our cultural icons. These people clearly, this is the only people that are like get amnesia, right? Let me see if I get this shit right. This motherfucker, whether he was born here or not, his parents weren't, come from a country that was colonized by the British up until 1962 and have the audacity to side with the white oppressor, so much so that they ran to the country of the white oppressor, right? Now, it was Britain that actually colonized a country, but they was working in cahoots with America. And let's not get it fucked up. America ain't nothing but British 2.0 or Britain 2.0 with guns and food seasoning and flavoring and black people. It's the only difference. You ran to a country that was in cahoots with a country that had your country in bondage and enslavement through colonization. I'm telling you, if the aliens come here, they're gonna be confused. This shit writes itself. You couldn't make this shit up if you tried. The backwardsness of some of these people's thought process. They literally love the same people that will bomb their country, economically deprive it, economically drain the resources, socially degrade the people, and will literally come over here on an H1 or M1 or HR visa and talk slick and greasy about the indigenous people here. This dude's a cokehead, bro. Fuck you and the FBI. In any event, I'm out. No.